Recording in
Good afternoon,
progress.
everyone. I hope you're all doing great. I think I'm receiving some feedback from PC. Yeah. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chewen Kamba, and I'm the Youth Engagement Officer at Corporals. So this session that we have, it's called the Friday session, where we just get to impart young people with knowledge and skills when it comes to career development and also organization development. And as Corporals Youth Hub, we've got various activities that we get to do here. We get to host young people who come here where they get to just be mentored in different things. For example, we get to mentor them when it comes to sexual health. Then we also get to have we get to come and have fun. Like for instance, we had early this year, we had some painting that was happening at the Youth Hub. So we get to have various kind of activities that we do at the Youth Hub. And this session that we are having today is one of the activities that we are doing because we feel it is very imperative to be able to share some of the information that young people need. Like right now, I feel a lot of universities do not teach us how to get employment, or even better, just know how to navigate the career life. But we felt this is an opportunity that we can be able to give back to the young people and see how we can share this knowledge that we have through people that have really achieved in their life and that have really gone through the CSO life. So this is for you, young people. And oh, by the way, I'm also a young person. I'm also a young person, yeah. So just feel free to be able to ask questions in the chat. Then we'll also open up the Oasis, the floor where you can just get to ask your question to our main speaker today. And yeah, so that we can be able to just fully understand and also make use of this information. So on this platform, we get to have various topics that we get to discuss, and just look forward to see our next session that we're going to be able to post on our social media platform. And also, please, before you leave, just make sure you search for Corporals Zambia on Facebook and make sure you like that page so that you can be able to follow up some of the sessions that we'll be having that would really add on to the knowledge that you require in terms for your career growth, even to organization development. Having said that, I welcome everyone that has joined. I welcome you all to this session. And at this juncture, I would just like to call upon Ina. Ina, good afternoon, Ina.
Good afternoon, Chairway. Can you see me?
No. Oh,
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Ina, for giving us your time to be able to just impart young people today. We feel this is a very great opportunity to be able to just get knowledge from somebody who has really had the experience when it comes to the NGO sector. But before we get down into the meat of today, I'll just give you an opportunity to just get to introduce yourself so that even just from the introduction, young people would really get inspired to who you really are. Yeah, so over to you, Ina.
Hi, so thank you so much, Chairway, and hi, everyone. It's really good to see the names that have joined. I will be switching off my video, but I just wanted everybody to see my face, and I will switch off my video. Is that okay, Chairway?
No, we would need your video to be off. It's easy for the participants to follow, yeah.
Okay, so let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Ina Kafunda, and I consider myself to be a young person, by the way, Chairway, but of course not as young as most people in this group. I am married and I have two beautiful kids. One is 6, one is 2, almost 2, 1 year, 8 months. I have been working in the NGO world for over 10 years now. And apart from working in the NGO world, I have also, I'm a founder of an organization called the Youth Leadership Program Initiative. which is just being kickstarted. It's a 2-year program for young people where we harness leadership skills in these young people. So I've worked for a number of NGOs in Zambia. I have had the privilege to work for John Snow Incorporated. I've worked for Clinton Health Access Initiative. I've worked for University of Maryland. And most recently now, I'm working with historically Black colleges and universities, Global Health Consortium in Zambia, where I hold the position of Deputy Country Director. So that's me.
Wow. Well, you've got a rich CV, I could see, in the NGO sector, because all those institutions that you've worked for, I believe they're just NGOs. And a lot of people just get to hear what is an NGO, and a lot of people have got different definitions of an NGO, but having experience and being in these different institutions, how then can you define an NGO so that a lot of people can have just an understanding using your background?
Well, like you said, the different definitions of what an NGO is. I think we need to mute some mics. But from my experience, but then also looking at the NGO Act, an NGO is basically defined as an incorporated or corporate organization that is receiving funding to carry out a specific task. It usually has different scopes of work, and it usually runs for different periods of time. So there are NGOs that are local NGOs and international NGOs, but these are just cooperatives, incorporated or non-corporated, that are carrying out specific humanitarian tasks. So that's how I'll define it in simple terms, and unless you want me to bring the legal definition of what an NGO is, but I think that's good enough for us to understand what it is.
Okay, great. So from what you said, one would ask, why did you opt to go for a career in an NGO, or why should a young person opt to have a career in the NGO sector?
So almost, it's really good to be in an NGO world, but I think it's good to also have a career in a non-NGO world. Personally, I opted to be in the NGO world because working in government institutions, for me at the time, that's over 12, 13 years ago, I got really bored with the routine system. So I was looking for something that was going to challenge me and excite me. And I think I found that in the NGO world. I learned a lot. I was pushed to the edge where people expected the very best out of me. And I think from my personality, I think that's what I was looking for. So that's why I opted to go into the NGO world at the time.
Okay. So what are some of the career opportunities that exist in NGOs? Because I believe this is a reason why most of the people have joined on this call, because they want to see how they can navigate and also understand the existing opportunities that are there in the NGO sector.
Yeah. So just like in any career field, in the career ecosystem, we have different opportunities that are available in the NGO world currently. As you are all aware, the NGO world has really evolved over time. When we were starting, it was mainly around public health, and the focus was mainly HIV. But now you find that the opportunities are really diverse. So you will find opportunity with regard to economics in an NGO. So if you've done economics, there are opportunities for economists in an NGO where you can apply yourself, apply your skills, and get a good job around that. We have opportunities in accounts, we have opportunities in advertising, in logistics, in grant management, program management. So really the opportunities are endless. There are various opportunities in the NGO world. All you need to do is really define what you want personally and align your skills and align your search to get into the NGO world from your perspective or from your point of view.
Okay. That's really great. From your own experience, what would you say are the benefits of starting early in an NGO sector?
Well, from my perspective, starting early is, I think that's what we're taught when we're really, really, our parents want us to start grade one when we are 4 years old or 5 years old, so that we can get our foot ahead, so that we have a fresher mind to understand certain things, but then bring it back to why I would advise anybody to start early, really, because it demands a lot from you. You have to sacrifice, you have to still have that mind where you're open enough to learn, to be corrected, to be reprimanded. And you put in a lot of time. I cannot imagine where I am now. Now I have 2 kids, I have a husband, and the time I started, I had no husband and no kids. And to be honest, sometimes I used to knock off at midnight, sometimes you knock off at 02. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating, like literally. So I do not imagine doing that then, what I used to do then now, because now definitely I would break down, because I would literally not have any time for my kids, or literally not have any time for home, or even do other things. So it is important for young people to start early while they're still single, while they still have time, while they're still energetic to learn, and they're still open to learn. In this field, sometimes you find it difficult to manage an older person because they are set in their ways, and they are not really comfortable to adapt to certain requirements that we give them. So for those reasons, I think it's really, really good to start early, but then also to rise the ladders early and acquire the skills early, so that you're at a certain level before you turn a certain age.
Okay, nice. So you're saying to start early. What are some of the steps one can take? Because how can I get started? I would like to know the steps that one can make one establish a successful career in an NGO, because you can start but not really sure on how to move about, or just going up the ladder of success in an NGO sector.
Well, so before I start, I really want to make it clear that there are no hard and fast rules. So this can work for some people and it can work for other people. It definitely did work for me. And when corporates approached me to have this conversation with me, I do not consider myself to have established a career in an NGO world. So I also do have people that I look up to, who I consider to be my mentors. So I also did reach out so that I'm able to give this wonderful group comprehensive feedback from my perspective, but as well as from my mentors. So it's here or there, it can work, it cannot work, but I will really just what I've gone through. So I think in the NGO world, the first thing is you need to know what you want. What do I want? And establish that. Take a step backwards and say, what do I want for my career? What is my interest? What is my passion? Do I want to work in the water and sanitation field? Do I want to work in public health? Do I want to work in saving the planet? So there are a lot of organizations that are doing different, very good things, but you need to be able to have passion for what you're going to be doing so that it is consistent and sustainable. Otherwise, you will do it for 2 years and you will really get bored. So I think the first thing that one needs to do, in my opinion, is really to have passion for what you want to do. Then second thing I would say is find your niche. What is your strength? What do you have to bring on the table as you enter these NGOs? What are your strengths? And I think all of us do know what our strength is. It could be talking, it could be writing, it could be analyzing data. So you really need to be honest with yourself and know what your niche is as you try to get into this world. The second thing is, as you maneuver through and establish what your niche is and what your interest is. You need to be able to plan ahead. Okay, right now I'm just in uni, or I've just graduated from uni last. I think it's the most famous university in Zambia right now. How do I get into this NGO? What skills do I need? Apart from my degree, apart from my diploma, what other skills do I need for that niche that I want to be doing in the NGO world? So you could find out the skills or qualifications differently. You could Google program officer, program officer positions, and analyze what skills they require for that position. That's your entry point. The other thing is you could say, okay, I want to be the country representative of the UN. So what skills are required for a country representative for the UN? And really start aligning yourselves to acquire those skills. Now, how can you get those skills? Apart from the degree that you have, you can get those skills from volunteering in an NGO world, or non-governmental organization. So there are a lot of organizations that I personally know that are taking up internship, and grow these skills in young people. But the problem we are seeing right now as organizations for young people that are looking for volunteering or internship is young people are focused mainly on money. They are saying, no, I want to come as a volunteer or an intern, but how much are you going to give me? So really my encouragement to young people is try to volunteer because you want to acquire a skill and not because you want to make money. Money will come, trust me, with experience. As you enter the system, money will come, but you need to begin from somewhere and you need to look at a bigger picture. What are you getting from this internship? That's what you need to focus on. So you need to find a place to volunteer. You can acquire the skills in other ways as well. We have a galore of webinars going on the internet right now. Sign up, and they're all free, by the way. Most of them are free. So sign up, acquire a skill in something that you're interested in. We have LinkedIn free courses. Sign up and go through those LinkedIn free courses. Data analysis, program management, leadership skills. So try and find ways of acquiring those skills. And my recommendation is volunteer work and internship. So when you get those skills, I mean, throw out applications. Don't look at the position. Don't look at the money. You do need an entry point. So as you're trying to find an entry point, try and get into the NGO world at whatever level they're able to get you in. Okay, so when you get in at whatever level, be open to learn. Be open to learn. Do not stick to what you know, what you learned at uni. I know my background is biomedical sciences, but I've also studied law. My position right now is the deputy country director. I do finance, I do M&E, I do people management. I do a lot of things that I never imagined I was going to do with biomedical sciences background. So be open to learn, ask questions, volunteer yourself, work long hours, continue to work, set yourself apart. Let them know that the quality I'm going to get from Joyce is going to be good quality. And trust me, when an opportunity comes up in that boardroom where Natasha is not, somebody is going to say, Natasha is really good at this, and I think we need to give Natasha a chance to have this position or to try out this position. So entered into, acquired a position, continue learning, continue growing yourself, be committed. Be committed. And it's a very competitive world because everybody is kind of cutting edge. So you really have to do an extra mile. You have to do the work before you eat the carrots. So for me, I think those are the steps that I would advise somebody to take. I don't know if I've left anything out, but the other key thing as you rise the ladders is the issue of integrity. You will be given responsibilities to manage the budget, to manage people. You need to demonstrate high levels of integrity so that people can be able to trust you. Remember, the NGO, in the NGO world, we're doing humanitarian activities. So we're saving lives, we're putting people on treatment, we're saving the planet. So we do not want to steal from that vulnerable little boy, HIV positive boy in Shangombo, you know? And so that's why the part of integrity is really, really important. But overall, that's what you need to do step by step. I hope I've helped someone, but those are the steps you kind of need to take.
Okay, wow. Actually, when you were talking, I even just remembered myself because actually I got a job at Corporals after being an intern at Corporals. So, which is very much true that you have to learn the skills first for you to be able to get the job, because a lot of people will complain, like one of the ladies said, most in our institutions, they want somebody who's got 5 years, 10 years experience. Through volunteering, through internship, that's when you can be able to grow the experience that you require for you to be able to just get into the NGO sector, which is very, very much true. On that one, I hope a lot of people have heard, which is the starting point for everyone, that they can just get into the NGO world. But having said that, a lot of people will now be asking now, what are some of the academic competences that the NGO sector really wants? Because I might be this young person who's not very much sure of what they want. You know, a lot of young people, one thing I've noticed is that most of the young people, when they finish the grade 12, they are not really guided in terms of what courses they should go and study, where this course will take you in life. So what are some of the courses that have, for lack of better term, have got the market when it comes to finding a job in the NGO sector? The ones that you've really come across and say, okay, this might be a direct entry for you.
Chewe, I wish I had, I wish I could tell everybody, oh, you want to get into the NGO world, please go and do an MPH, do a master's in public health, and you will get into the NGO world. But truth be told, just like any career, I think you just need the basic minimum qualification. NGO world, like I mentioned earlier, are taking up different qualifications. You can have a career in an NGO world when you've done mass communication. You know, you can have a career in an NGO world when you have done law. We have public health lawyers that are working in an NGO world and are writing grant proposals, and so really I think as a young person, the most important thing, again, I will go back, is what is your niche? What do you want to do? Where do you want to be 2, 3, 4, 10, 15 years from now? And you need to be intentional about that and get the qualification that you need. Of course, I will not say get yourself a degree or get yourself a master's. To be honest, when I entered the NGO world, I didn't have the qualifications that they needed, but God opened the door and I managed to enter. But I would advise young people to get their basic degree and to get their master's. It's always an added advantage to have those academic qualifications. But I will go back. It's one thing to sit in class and get your academic qualification. It is another thing to practice and deliver on a job. We have had a lot of graduates who cannot deliver. So make sure as you are getting your degree or your master's, make sure you get the skill. And again, you can only get the skill if you can practice it somewhere. So get yourself a volunteer work, get yourself a mentor, get yourself a basic job, but be able to deliver the work with your qualification. Remember, NGO world are fast-paced organizations. They are usually running projects that are like 3 years, 5 years, And the funders are like, we need the results, we need the numbers, you are lagging behind. So time, we do not have time to train people and say, no, she's gonna learn, or he's going to learn after 4 months, after 5 months, because we will lose funding because you cannot give us the numbers, you cannot give us the reports, you cannot give us the analysis. So as you enter the NGO world, make sure you are hands-on and you're able to deliver. Say about qualification, get your degree, get your master's, get your PhD, but make sure you deliver with those papers.
Yeah, right. Because actually, from what you've just said, mostly when we get to receive interns at corporates, and when it's my time to induct them, I always tell them that here it's all about having the fast blood in your body, because it's very fast paced and we just want you on your toes all the time. And if you lag behind, you
Right.
find that we're already gone and you'll be like, you won't come back because you're not as fast as somebody will require here. So which you've said is very, very true. And you're just making me reflect mostly on what really goes on in the CSO sector when you just meet the colleagues and just tell, in the NGO sector, it's a fast-paced sector and you really have to be on your toes, which is very, very amazing for a young person, because if you start in the NGO sector, I feel you'll be so up and awake all the time. So yeah. So
right.
Having said that, maybe we could just come down to some personal experiences. What are some of the personal experiences that you encountered that you'd like to share with the young people that really inspired you, or that really inspired you, or maybe some people that really inspired you in your career development?
Well, Chewe, that's a very broad question. I've been working for over 10 years, so my experiences are a lot. But I guess I'll pick two. I'll pick the good side and I'll pick the hectic side and see if people will kind of get a glimpse of how it is.
Yeah.
But I think where I learned a lot, I think was the first NGO I worked at, which was the John Snow Incorporated. And I had this boss from Ghana. And he was really, really hard. It was my first NGO job. I think my first job practically. And I had one boss from Ghana and the other boss from the US, who was the country director at the time. So my Ghanaian boss would not let you do anything until you rehearse with him. I was doing forecasting and quantification of medical supplies. So you had to analyze the data, make presentation, develop presentations, and make presentations to him before, like a week before the actual day. And I'm telling you, we used to knock off at midnight. Wow. Because he is not happy with your work and you will not go home until your work was. Now that has, I can see my program manager on this call, but yeah, sometimes I can be really tough to my team. And I just, I tell them we're not moving forward until we do this. We have to go through it and prepare adequately. So I think I got that from my first boss, and I really, really appreciate, because it molded my work culture, my commitment, my levels of analysis, and how I critically look at any document right now. And that's like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So I really appreciate that side. And that side, I think for every one of us, trying to give us a glimpse that the NGO world is not as laissez-faire. It will require a lot from you. It will require your time, your commitment. It will push you. Sometimes you actually do cry. I think I remember I cried a couple of times because I feel somebody is being unrealistic. How can we do this? But it teaches you a lot of skills. So that's one experience that I look back now. Then it was terrible. I would cry and complain to everybody. I was almost quitting the job. But now I look at it and say, oh, wow, that was a wonderful experience. That taught me a lot. On the other side now, I'm the one who's pushing people for delivery. I remember 2 years ago, we almost lost a grant because of data quality issues. And I was supervising a diverse team. I had doctors, clinical officers, data clerks on the team, and the funder was saying, if you don't give us clean data and verified data, we're cutting funding. Oh. So the implication of cutting funding is that, I don't know, 250 people are going to lose their jobs. And people that were supposed to get a service will not get a service. The people that you're concerned about, the HIV positive people in my case at the time. So I remember instinctively doing what my old boss used to do. You know, I'd ask the team, we are having a meeting at 7 a.m. Everybody has to be on the call. We're reviewing data from each of the districts that we're supporting, and people hated me. People hated me. People didn't want to talk to me. But the good part is we did deliver. We did verify our data. We did keep our funding, and our program grew, our project grew. So that's a good thing. So those are two worlds. And I don't know if they're all the same, but I guess my experiences have been that you learn a lot. You are pushed to the edge. You are required to give it your very best, and it makes you a better person. It makes you a better professional. And from the ministry, from GRZ or from other implementing organizations that are not, you know, top notch. So those are my experiences, really.
Okay, that's really great, and that's very inspiring, because a lot of people get to complain when they're scored, not knowing that being molded in a certain direction, for which, yeah, that mostly happens in these sectors. So having discussed that, what then can you say are some of the impediments that one can come across in having a successful career in an NGO?
Well, impediments. I really think it's the opposite of what we've talked about so far.
Yeah.
Being lazy.
Okay.
Is one thing. You cannot afford to be lazy. I just saw a WhatsApp post from the Corporos CEO last night, Sally, at 21 hours, and she's, you know, taking a video saying, I'm still in the office. And imagine, she's CEO and she's in the office at 21 hours. So you definitely cannot be lazy. You cannot be complacent. You cannot feel this is it. I'm in the NGO now. I'm a program officer. I have arrived. You need to constantly learn. You need to constantly build your skills. So you cannot be complacent. You need to be an open-minded person. You cannot say, I'm uncomfortable with this, I'm uncomfortable with that. And remember, in the NGO world, you work with people who are diverse. You work with people from East, West, South, everywhere. So you need to be able to adjust and adapt and understand that it's a diverse culture, and you need to be open to learn other people's cultures as well. So definitely you need to keep on learning and preparing and be intentional with what you want to achieve.
Okay, so like what you've said, it's a fast-paced sector, and some young people might be discouraged because they might feel as if it would be too much work for them. Yeah. So what are some of the valuable skills and workable tips that you would recommend that can enhance one's prospects in the NGO sector?
Well, skills you said, Chewe?
Yes.
Okay. So definitely you need to be cutting edge, right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to bring to the table. So reading around that, you can learn to be innovative. Actually, you just need to read more, research more, and bring those ideas forward. So have the ability to innovate. Secondly, critical thinking, I think you cannot overemphasize that. You need to be a critical thinker in everything that you're doing. The requirements for the money that people give you to implement a program. You need to be able to analyze data. You need to be critically able to analyze data and tease out the so what. Are we answering the so what? Are we meeting the key performance indicators? Why are we not meeting them? I think the other thing for me is really not to confine yourself to what you know. I gave an example, biomedical scientists. Now I can analyze data and understand the MER indicators or the monitoring evaluation requirements by PEPFAR. It's not taught at school, and now I can develop a budget, analyze it. So you need to have diverse skills that are going to set you apart. So be able to learn. I think those are the skills that are required. And obviously be a hard worker. And nowadays we're looking for people who are able to write good reports, who are able to do grant proposals. So those skills are also good to attend as well.
Okay. So from what you've said, what are some encouragement? What are some of the encouragements that you give to young people just to encourage them, those who are still in school, those who are searching for jobs, especially those who are searching for jobs, because I feel there are a lot of young people who do not have jobs, and I feel they saw this as an opportunity to be able to learn and be able to see how they can now navigate the unemployment and see how they can now find a job in the NGO sector. So what are your last encouragements to them?
Okay, so my encouragement is be patient with yourself. I know it's hard to look for a job. You throw applications all over the place, but something will definitely come up. And when it does, make sure you give it your very best and set yourself apart. As you wait, continue building your skills. If possible, reach out to various organizations to volunteer, to offer your skills on a volunteer, to have internship programs. Do not only look at money. It's good to look, all of us love money. I love money too. But as you're starting, make sure that your priority is, I need to acquire the skills. Look at the bigger picture. Where do I want to be 5 years from now? How do I get in? I just need to get in. I just need that opportunity. So you need to prepare for that opportunity and be very intentional about it. So reach out to these organizations, tell them, I don't need anything. All I need is to learn. All I need is to learn and apply yourself to do exactly that. And trust me, they will identify that skill in you. And when an opportunity arises, they will call you and offer you that job. So my encouragement to young people is continue working hard. If you are on this platform, then definitely your foot is already ahead, because you want to learn, you want to prepare yourself, you want to know what do I need to do to get to where I want to be. So that's a good place. But yes, keep learning, volunteer, work hard, something will come up.
Okay, nice encouragement there. So at this moment, I've posted a link in the chat. So what we just need is for you to be able to fill in that form so that we can be able to get feedback and also just improve our programming when it comes to the Friday sessions. Then also, I would like to just open the floor so that maybe if you've got some questions that you'd like to ask, you can just please post them in the chat. Maybe you can raise your hand so that you can be unmuted and just get to ask a question that you feel needs to be answered. Okay, so Vilda, you can go ahead.
Hello. Thank you so much for this opportunity. First of all, I would like to thank the speaker. He has been so much informative and I really appreciate. My name is Vilda Cheno and I'm from Kenya. And I'm also physically disabled, but most of the time I do advocacy work. So I'm a champion here in Kenya for persons with disability. So my question was, because I'm still a student and I'm not working. So is it good to be a volunteer, especially when you are still in school? Or must you do with your education is when you can do like volunteer work and all sorts? Thank you.
Hi, Chawe.
Hi, you can go ahead and respond to that question. Thank you, Vilda.
Thanks, Vilda, for that question. And I just want to applaud the work that you're doing. You're doing an amazing job, especially that you're still in school. Please not have enough people advocating for what should be rightly ours as human beings. My response would be, if your school schedule can allow you to do volunteer work while you're still in uni, please go ahead. You do not have to wait until you get your qualification to do internship. So you can still do both at the same time, as long as you're able to keep your deadlines at school and your grades on course. So that would be my response.
Okay, great. We've got another question from Mwansa. Mwansa, you can go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so my question is, how can you really penetrate in this? I'll give an example. Most of the organizations nowadays, they require, even at internship level, they still require you to have some sort of experience. They will say, okay, you should have at least 3 years experience, and for a recent graduate, how can you really like penetrate into the NGO world? Because even internship or volunteering, it's hard nowadays to even find or penetrate into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mwansa. Ina, you can respond.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Mwansa, for that question. And I really relate to your frustration. I really do feel your frustration with the number of years that these some of our organization are requiring us from the candidates that we have. On a very personal level, I have never I've never limited myself to when I look at the job description, the job advert description, and I'm capable of doing the task, I go ahead and apply for it. And I think on most occasions, I do get an invitation for interviews. So don't let those years limit you to actually apply. Please go ahead and apply. And I'm very, please cast your net wide. I know it's hard, and I know sometimes the responses may not be the way we want them, favorable, but cast your net wide and continue knocking at that door. Something will come up. Also, check the internet. There are various websites, local organizations, as well as international organizations that are offering internship programs. Just yesterday, I think I earlier mentioned, I was having a chat with one of my mentors. She is the country director for Clinton Health Access Initiative at the moment. And she was giving me a scenario of this intern that they have. This intern is from Ghana because the dad is working in Zambia because he's working for UN. So the dad reached out to them and he managed to get in, and he is been amazing. The young person has been amazing. And she was telling me, we're having a conversation, and she's telling me, I wish our Zambian youths could also apply for such opportunities and apply them has. So meaning that the opportunities are there. We just need to know where to go and continue knocking, and the door will be open very soon. Be persistent, have grit, and it will definitely open. So I do feel your frustration with the requirements, and I totally understand. You get a no, you get no response, but please keep at it. Something will definitely come up.
True. Keep on knocking. And I feel also we've had sessions, and we're going to continue having sessions where if you feel you've applied and haven't really been receiving responses, sometimes it might be your CV isn't written in a good way, or maybe you have to learn a skill of how to write a cover letter. So please, mostly reach out on our page, check, so that maybe you can be able to improve your CV. Maybe you might not know it's a CV that's really not letting you through that door. So find ways on how you can be able to develop that skill of CV writing and also the cover letter writing. There's a question in the chat from Mulenga, Victoria, and she's asking, how do we balance working for free, volunteering, with one's living expenses? Yeah, how does one?
That's a very difficult question, Mulenga. Yeah. So looking at it right now is we want to prepare ourselves to establish a career in the NGO world.
Yes.
We want to be able to get that job that's paying us something. And for us to get in, we need the skills. So you're not working for free. Remember, they are paying you because they're teaching you how to do the job. They're setting you up for success. So so for me, I would advise you look at it like that. You're not working for free. You're acquiring skills that are setting you up for success, for that dream job that you need. Now, as you're doing that, obviously you do realize that there are bills to pay, there's transport and things like that. Now, most of these organizations, to be honest, like the organizations I've worked for, we do not have a budget for interns. We can get you on and give you the skills, but we do not have an approved budget to give you a salary. So that's where the challenge comes in. Now I'm talking as a program director or as a deputy country director. That's where the problem is. We would love to pay you, but there's no budget. But we also do understand that you need the practice, you need the skills so that you are able to get that job that you need. So the balance is tricky. To be honest, I really don't know a satisfactory answer to that question. But I would say you could also continue looking for that job that will pay you, especially that you need to pay bills. But in the interim, the alternative, the next best thing is get the skills so that next time there's an available opening, you're able to demonstrate that you actually do have the skills for that job. But then also nowadays, there's a lot of entrepreneurial activities, businesses online. Probably we could also try something like that so that you can still continue earning that income. There are a lot of stories that we've read on social media and in the papers right now on UNZA graduates being a conductor in a bus. I know my friend has an UNZA graduate young lady that's helping her babysit and help her kids do homework. So we could also try out those things as we are trying to set ourselves up for that job that we want. Yeah, that's what I would say. But to be honest, I really don't have a direct answer to that question, but it's a very, very important question.
Okay, thank you, Ina, for that response. Before I get to the hand, I'd just like to clarify. So the question from Banda James I think this one will be able to have a session which is going to talk about organization fundraising, and I feel we'll be able to respond to that question in that session. So just look out for the advert that we'll be able to post on our social media platforms so that we can be able to tackle that question. Having said that, Timothy, you can go ahead with your question, then we'll come to Mkisi. Timothy, are you there? Okay, maybe we can go to Mkisi. Mkisi, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity, and the presentation is nice and very informative at the same time. So my question is, how do you thrive in the organization world when you're living maybe in remote areas? I wouldn't say really remote areas, but in areas where you don't have NGO offices, government offices, like people where to know from. For example, I'm from Rancho, a civic station. We don't have government offices that help you, or organizations that can train you. So how do you like come out? Because it has been a bit difficult for me. Like I've been trying to knock, but because of the area that I am, I don't know how best I can come out and just come on board and be where I want to be by the end of the day.
Were you able to hear that question?
No, but it's more like maybe he's trying to ask concerning his location, because it says in Luansha, and maybe the organization that are in his proximity, most of the organizations are not in his proximity. So maybe I think maybe it's related to that, because Kisi, you are not clear. Is it possible if you could just write your question in the chat box? Hello, Kisi.
All right, all right.
Yeah, maybe write it in the chat box. Then, Ina, there's this question that I feel a lot of people get to ask in the NGO sector. So it says, this is from Precious, do you ever have fears that you could be jobless, especially when a project is coming to an end? And this is what a lot of people, I felt like that before, I'm not lying. So do you get to have fears, and how do you get to navigate those fears? Because a lot of people go through that.
Yeah. Yes. I also get to have those fears. Definitely. I have closed out, I think, 3 projects. And so every time this is our last year and you start preparing for closeout, you do get those fears. How have I addressed those fears? I prepare early, to be honest. I know that my grant is ending in September 2020. By, I don't know, September 2019, I will be looking for opportunities on the internet and applying for other opportunities that might come up. So that is really how I have prepared for closeouts or end of projects and things like that. The other thing that has helped me over the years is just to do my best. I have not yet lost a job because of end of grant. I usually am given another task to do by my supervisors. So I'll be like, okay, we're closing this. You were a program manager, but we want you to be deputy chief of party on this one, or we want you to do some, KP work on this one. So usually I have revolved to the next programs or the next grants. But personally, I am also on the internet preparing like a year or 2 before the grant actually ends. Usually we do know that the grant is ending because it has cycles. So you just really need to be proactive. This is a personal journey, your personal career, and start preparing early. Don't wait for August to apply for jobs when the grant is ending in September. You probably won't get the job immediately. You stay maybe another 6 months to get a job. But start early. I would suggest a year before. Yeah. Chewa, we can't hear you. You're on mute.
Sorry. Oh, that was unmuted. Okay, so we'll go to Chimuka Chinene. You can go ahead with your question. Chimuka, are you there?
Thank you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. I'm here representing the Bupila Foundation. And my question for you is, how exactly can you advise on how an NGO can cover their costs, like admin costs, salaries, overheads, especially if they're solely, they rely solely on donations and grants? Is it appropriate to pay out salaries from the funding they receive, or is it best to focus on the funding on direct impact rather than paying out salaries using that funding?
Chewa, do you want me to take that?
Yes, you can take that. Because I feel there are some NGOs that are part of this session, and I feel it is imperative for them to just have some knowledge when it comes to.
Okay. So before I answer that question, I also want to go back on how do you prepare for potential job losses because of grant ending. The other personal tip I'd like to give is make sure you manage your resources prudently. Have a saving fund, have an emergency fund. As NGOs, they usually pay a little better than GRZ. They also give gratuity. So make sure you invest your money, make sure you have a plan to survive on your without an income for at least 6 months, so that you do not stress when you hear that they are not giving you additional funding, or that you do not have a job because the funding has lived its cycle or it has randomly been cut. So I think that's another tip that all of us need to be aware of. So the question, if I got it right, is how do you sustain funding for NGOs, and can you pay salaries based on the funding money that you've been given, correct?
Yes, just the second part, mainly, can you pay salaries using that funding? Is that appropriate? Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the answer is it depends on the funding opportunities that you have been given. So the funding comes with very specific guidelines. So if in the grant application you did indicate that you need human resource to work on your project, to implement, and they will need to be on a salary, and you included it in your budget, yes, it is okay for you to pay out salaries. Of course, there are percentages on how much money should be allocated to overhead, which is salaries, paper, and everything else, and also how much of the total funding should be allocated to actual program implementation. So the bigger chunk should be actual program implementation. So for the programs I've been working on, it has been 16% on overhead, which is human resource salaries, and the rest on program implementation. Another grant I worked on, it was 21% on salaries and everything else, and then the rest on program implementation, because you do need bodies, you do need soldiers to actually do the implementation of these activities. But again, I will emphasize, it all depends on a request for funding or a proposal for funding and how you made your application and awarded to you.
Okay, so maybe let's just get the last 3 questions. Timothy. Timothy, are you there? Okay, if Timothy is not there, we'll go to Stanislas Banda. You can go ahead with your question.
Hello, are you getting me?
Yes.
Thank you. I wish to find out from Kafunda, is it okay for one to apply for a job that they have experience only, but they don't really have the matching qualifications? Because many of the times that I've found myself in a situation where I have the technical know-how on what they want and the competences, but my qualification or my undergraduate is contrary to what they are looking for. And the second thing is I wish to find out how you can engage partners, because I'm working on a project for inmates. So I wish to engage other organizations who are doing like-minded works so that I can support these women in prison with SRR, HR programs, and also menstrual health management. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Banda. So the first question, you have experience, you do not have the academic qualification. My personal opinion is yes, go ahead and apply for that job. You need to highlight in your CV that you do have the, you do have the experience to do this work, and you demonstrate where you have implemented program or done those specific activities. And yeah, so they should be able to review your CV and say, okay, yeah, we're looking for an MPH. This person has, this person has a degree. Let me just switch off my aircon. This person has a degree in, I don't know, biology. So just make sure that that's clearly highlighted in your CV, that you have had experience working, on some of those tasks. Sorry, I apologize for that. You have experience working on some of those tasks. I hope that's adequate. So please go ahead and apply and clearly stipulate in your CV. Then the second question, how do you find collaborations with other implementing partners? Similar activities that you are doing, the different platforms that you'll be able to find these organizations. For us, usually it has been the technical working group, where you hear you're implementing telemedicine, there are other partners implementing telemedicines, you meet together and see how you can collaborate. But then also you could do business reviews, where I know I'm working on a youth leadership program initiative. I know Coparos has a youth hub, so I'll reach out to Coparos technical director or CEO and ask for a meeting just to introduce ourselves and what we're working on, and obviously see possible opportunities for synergy and collaboration. So you need to do your research. You need to do your research on which organizations in my location are implementing this program, and reach out to them physically or by email or by writing a letter, and go and do a presentation to show them what you're doing and ask what are the possible synergy opportunities and collaborations. For me, I think that's how we've gone about it, and that has worked for us.
Okay. There's just last question now, because I feel we've responded most of the time and we've gone above our time. So there's just one, and I feel this one is a very important question, because it's what goes on in the mind of a lot of young people who are starting in an NGO sector. So what really weighs more? Is it your experience or your academic qualifications for you to excel to a level of being a country director like you are right now? So which one weighs more?
Your experience.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
You need both. You definitely need both, but they need to, you need to have the experience to do a lot of stuff. Some of the tasks are soft skills. People management is soft skills. You know, nobody is going to teach you in class how to manage people, how to supervise people, how to lead a team. So I would say you need both, because when they put out an ad, they will ask for certain qualifications, but your experience also does matter. So if I was reviewing a CV, I would weigh more on, let's see the experience. Where have they done something similar, and can they be able to come and hit the ground running and manage this team?
Okay. Okay, insightful. That's really great. So I think we've really discussed most of the stuff that we really needed to talk about, and I feel a lot of young people have been enlightened when it comes to a career in an NGO sector. So at this moment, we would just like to hear what are your last remarks to the young people who have ambitions to work in the NGO sector.
All right, so thank you so much again, Chairway and the Corporals team for this opportunity. To the young people, everything is possible if you apply yourself and if you are intentional to what you want to achieve. So make sure you get that basic qualification that you need to get in, but most importantly, try as much as possible to acquire the skill so that you can deliver and be set apart in that organization. And once you get in and you are able to work hard and commit and set yourself apart, the sky is no longer the limit. You will be able to get to where you want to be. So that's what I would say.
Okay, thank you very much, Ina, because for me, it has really been a privilege and I've really learned a lot from you. And I believe even the young people really learned a lot from this session. We're really grateful for offering us your time to be able to learn. And to everyone who joined, thank you for being part of this session. And I hope you learned something and you'll be able to apply it. And maybe we could get to meet actually in the CSO sector and just get and also just get the feedback that you really learned from this session. Having said that, thank you very much to everyone. Look out for the next session, which will be posted on our social media platform, and register for that next session so that we can be able to develop our skills when it comes to career development. Having said that, thank you very much and have a lovely afternoon. Goodbye. Thanks.
Bye.